Good morning. Welcome to the market forecast and welcome to another exciting day in the markets. Today is Tuesday, May the 25th. My name is John Hoagland. Thanks for trusting me with your time. As always, we're going to look for accurate context, always thinking about risk management and remaining very patient during our trading day today. As far as economic numbers came this morning, we've already had the home price indexes, the Case-Shiller and the FHFA come out just now. I'm just going to take a quick look here. The Case-Shiller one is the most important one. They were looking for 12.3% up 13. It was up an extra 1% at 13.3%. All of the numbers either meeting or exceeding expectations, it looks like here early in the session. Is that good or is that inflationary? Markets are yet to make that decision. So we also have crude oil opening in range in value, perhaps leaving the opening range at the low of the session, but holding above that important weekly kickoff high that it closed above yesterday. We're going to take a good look at that here closely. Apparently, crude has been holding support, even though talks have been continuing in Vienna, I guess, this week with Iran. Iran is hoping to have sanctions removed, come back into the oil market, as well as a return to the 2015 nuclear deal. We'll see how that has to play out. German GDP lower as wave 2 of the pandemic is taking its toll over there. U.S. stocks higher this morning, awaiting news, of course. The index this morning, 9 o'clock. We also have new home sales as well as consumer confidence. I forgot to mention those. So those are still out in about an hour. Also, we got a little bit of earnings coming out today, believe it or not, very late in the earnings season. AutoZone came out better than expected on both earnings and the other one. Kind of a little crazy here this morning, I think. We also have Intuit and Nordstrom due out this morning later on. So, I guess after the close, that would be Intuit and Nordstrom. Amazon's edging closer to a deal to buy MGM Studios for a mere $9 billion, kind of pocket change, I guess, when it comes to Amazon. As always, make sure you like, share, comment, question, feedback, and heckling are always welcome. I'm usually well deserving of a good heckling. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can get notified when we do go live. Taking a brief look at the VIX, the Dixie, and the 10-year yield this morning. The VIX kind of steady at 1832. The dollar index continuing to slide lower, 89.65, and the 10-year yield down at 1.6%. Noticing in a headline this morning, the 10-year and the 30-year are at 2-week lows as far as the yields are concerned. Makes sense that they've been creeping a little bit higher price-wise. As always, going to say hello to everybody. Theo, first one in the room, you win the prize. Brian, Felix Escobar, Cesar, Richie B, Jim, Trading Research, Laura, good morning, John S, Sunil, Shady Trader, St. James Sajor, good to see you. Tim G, Greg, Vince, good morning. Vici, good morning, John. Past step 2 last Friday, just waiting for 150 funded account now. Great job, Vici. We always like to hear about success stories from people that are here. We are looking forward to all of your success. Thank you for letting us know that, and congratulations. Just take your time. Just dance with the one you brung. That's what it's going to take to get you over that hump, and that's in that 150K account. Don't change everything. Do what you've been doing. It's been working for you. Keep on it. Good morning, Keith, Yorga, JD, the Dancing Bear. Good morning. Yes, Keith. Congrats, Vici. Colin, Brad, Tactic, Norm, KM, and Andres. It's always a pleasure to see everybody this morning. Thanks again for watching. Make sure you hit that like button, and we're going to jump into the charts here ASAP. I've got them solid this morning. We shouldn't have any issues with seeing them all the way through, at least not yet. Have I had any issues? And we never really know, do we? So we're going to take a look here very shortly. Let me get things organized a little bit, and we're going to jump into the daily in crude as usual first. All right, so here's the daily. Holding upside structure in a couple of ways, in longer time frame as well as in shorter time frame. We added 5,900 in open interest on this move to the upside, but we didn't bring in a whole lot of volume. This is a little bit disturbing for continuation of it. We are holding above this inflection level, 65.50 weekly kickoff high, at least for now. There is some potential news that may come out at any time, so we're going to make sure and manage our risk and always use stops. My concern is that the volume is just continuing to get weaker as we try and push higher. It's not necessarily healthy for the auction process. The other side of that coin, we added 5,900 in open interest, so it does seem as though on an up day that we did bring in some new longs to the industry or to the market. And is that going to continue? Is really going to be the question. Technically, are we accepting above the weekly kickoff high? Technically, we are. We closed above it. Okay, here's the 30-minute chart. Let me make this a little bit more visible for everybody. Settlement is all the way up here at 66.05. 65.50 is weekly kickoff high. Ran right through it. At least for the time being, it's somewhat supportive. It's only been 9 ticks below it. Opening in range in value, market continuing to try and push higher. No real overnight inventory. If it were, I'd have to say it might be a little bit short, which would make sense for an inventory adjustment back up towards settlement. I'm going to suggest again, as always, trying to stay patient. We've opened in range in value. Our high target environments, the low from the overnight as well as the weekly kickoff low. The high from the overnight, also perhaps the overnight, the high from yesterday also might be interesting levels where we might find a few fish. It's going to be interesting to see if there is no news today, how this market holds this level. The more time we spend up here, the more accepting it would be of time. But of course, news can change everything. And we are still waiting for news of what they are discussing in Vienna. The E-mini S&Ps. Everybody's favorite market. Well, people really seem to enjoy trading the Nasdaq. Gives me heart palpitations. All right. Upside continuation in the longer time frame, obviously maintaining. Yesterday we had an up move, adding 37,000 in open interest. That's a pretty decent jump in open interest. But again, my question is, where's the volume? Where's the volume behind that? We did add some longs here. We closed above last week's high. That's interesting. We're right between last week's high and weekly kickoff high of 42.20. So this move up, while not substantiated by volume, is substantiated by open interest increase. So with no bad news, I'm going to look for this market to continue to grind higher. Again, we are looking for new home sales and consumer confidence at 9 o'clock today. So a little bit more information due to come out. And then there's always, don't forget about the headline risks that are always out there. Make sure you maintain and hold your stops. Take a look at the 30-minute now. What kind of overnight information are we holding? We are holding longs, but we held longs yesterday as well. So we held those longs. Buyers came in, held us above the high from last week. We're holding longs again. Settlement is here, 41.9375. Put that on your charts. Are we going to be opening with any kind of a gap? Well, there is that possibility. If there is that possibility, it's probably not going to be that big of a gap. Wouldn't surprise me to see it close relatively earlier relatively early. But if we do open with the gap, that kind of brings us to the value area special play, where if we open above range and reaccept inside value, that brings price all the way back down to the low of value from yesterday. So a couple of interesting opportunities if we're supportive here between yesterday's high and value high. We're going to look for this market just to continue the grind to the upside, which it has a tendency to do. Again, if we open above range and value and we get back inside and accept value, that's going to change things and perhaps give us the opportunity at some point during the session to have price return back to low of value to see if there's business left to do down there. No gap rules. Let's take a look now into the Nasdaq. Same but different. Same in the fact that we added a bunch of open interest, fell 1,500 yesterday, bringing price above last week's high, coming up to a test of the weekly kickoff high. All of that is kind of congruent with the S&Ps. We haven't tested the weekly kickoff high yet. But again, we're still seeing volume falling off. So as price continues to move higher, volume continues to get slower. We're going to have to bring some new business into this market to continue this move to the upside. And the weekly kickoff high is a level where I would look for that to happen. Weekly kickoff levels are areas where I believe that longer, stronger traders are going to take notice and be forced to or want to adjust inventory, which means they can adjust and move a lot of inventory. That gives us good ideas, good ways to stay out of their way when we recognize that, and good ways to find opportunities to either join them or go against our direct competitors. Anyways, volume not impressive. Open interest, yeah, it was an increase. How good? I don't know. What we're going to find out perhaps today is we're going to see if we've brought in new business, new buyers above weekly kickoff high, if we get the opportunity. Take a look at the 30-minute chart here. Okay, here's last week's high, this pink line here, really just driving us above there. Settlement for the Nasdaq yesterday, 13,635 and a quarter. Really, once the market drove higher, it really didn't give much pullback. It just kind of held up here. What are we looking at for overnight inventory? Well, obviously, we're looking at longs. Are we going to be opening with a gap? That's a higher probability for the Nasdaq here than the S&Ps. The gap rules, of course, if gap rules, we're going to have some resistance above here. But if we can take out this and find some business, some activity, some new buyers, some new business above this weekly kickoff high, then we can look for the market to continue higher. Failure to accept above it, opening with a gap, reaccepting inside of value, pushes the market back to the low of value at some point in this session. So there's a lot of different scenarios that can happen today. And we're going to just have to monitor and be careful and be cautious and patient, waiting for the right thing. There's definitely fish up here somewhere. Where it is deeper or shallower is really the kind of question. Take a look now at the gold. Gold is, believe it or not, off my radar, at least for the time being. 1882 is still very magnetic. There is a lot of decision making going on. It's killing volume. Volume has just been getting crushed. We lost 1,300 in open interest. So not only are we losing volume, we're losing open interest in this area. And there's good and bad things that are going to come from that. It means we're probably not going to spend a lot of time here, but in the time we are going to spend here, it's going to be very choppy and difficult to trade. Those of you that used weekly kickoff previous weekly kickoff level at 1882 for long or short above, long above, short below, long above, short below, just got torn up yesterday. And it was one of the things that I was warning about as a distinct possibility for yesterday. Well, we're in that same situation today. Low volume, open interest. We lost 1,300 again. This market is, by and large, off my radar today until we can get some decision making away from this current weekly kickoff level. The 30-minute chart says a lot. We don't have any overnight positions. Settlement is up here, 1884.50. You might want to mark that on your charts. But just like, Friday, this is Thursday, Monday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday, if I even know what day it is, my goodness. But here's that 1882 level. Long above, no. Short below, no. Long above, no. Long below, short below, no. No. Wait. Nothing to do here. Just keep moving along. Nothing to see. Something will happen sooner or later. But it's just too choppy, just too range-bound, and just too magnetic to this 1882 level. Sometimes this happens. Those levels either get great opportunities right away, or once in a while, they'll get stuck there and chop everybody up while everybody's looking for what to do next. This is off my radar today. And it pains me to say that because last week, some pretty decent opportunities were in gold, but today, not seeing much unless there's some sort of decent or good change. Euro, finally, we're seeing a little bit of life. Finally, we see some interesting levels. Increase 18,000 in open interest on an inside day yesterday. That's kind of amazing. Volume wasn't that great, but now we're seeing the market coming into at least some bigger time frame, longer, stronger, more important levels, as in our high from last week, our weekly kickoff high. Both of them in play today. I think there's opportunity. There's fish at the weekly kickoff high. I think there's fish at the high from last week. Take a look at the 30-minute chart. Settlement down here. Settlement down here. We never did go back and recheck settlement in the regular trading hours session. Look at the good volume that we brought in last night. Okay? This euro is more of a London session market than it seems than a U.S. trading hours session. Good volume, probably some reconciliation of some of the longs in this range-bound activity between the high from last week and weekly kickoff high. Gap rules. It's going to probably be a little bit more of an exciting day. If we find support here, maybe we find a breakout above. If we find resistance here, maybe we find a breakout down below, which puts us to a possible gap close, back to a possible move back down to settlement. At least there's some interesting levels and some interesting opportunities for us today. Longer term levels. Last week's high, weekly kickoff high. Not really interested in anything in the middle here. I'm looking to see if we can break out or fail, or if we can break out or fail back to the upside off of last week's high. Just good to see some more interesting opportunities here. And it's unusual for me to say that gold is off my radar and the euro is on. The 10-year. We know that we've had yields kind of slipping, and they're at 2-week highs, 2-week lows, I should say. Right now, we had a pretty decent move to the upside, but look at how the volume has just been cutting off. Again, we're seeing volume cutting off up against last week's high. It's in play, and perhaps as support now. We are holding price above it. Volume remains very low, but we did add 99,000 in open interest. That I find interesting. That's got my ears abuzz as to what that means for the 10-year today. Settlement is down here, 132.20. Do we have some overnight longs? I'm going with probably not. I think that the longs that we did establish here in the early London session have pretty much been reconciled through consolidation. We're going to be watching the gap close slash last week's high for an opportunity, and if we can hold this level here, and I'm going to be looking more at value high from yesterday as more of an important support level, because I'm pretty sure we're going to probably have some stops down there that may take us back down to settlement. So in the interest of kind of maybe outthinking my competitors, if that's possible for me, if I'm going to see, well, you're probably going to see some stops just the other side of value high. We're going to try and look for better trade locations for longs if given the opportunity. This market is so, the ranges are so thin, it's very difficult for me in the things that I look at to find opportunities that offer big enough reward than the risk, especially when it involves inside trade. Today we don't. Today we don't include inside trade. We're looking for continuation outside of trade. What else here? I think that's about all I've got for us. A nice quick session this morning. I always like to get people ready for their equity open. Let's see if we have any good questions here. Vici saying thank you for this tremendous opportunity. Will do the knowledge you impart on us all. Much appreciated. Well, thank you very much, Vici. But this is all you, my friend. You did this. You do it. You do it right. You win the prizes. Great job. I'm very happy for you. Good morning, Murph. Good morning, everyone. Another great day. We are so lucky to have what we do as what we do. Very, very true. Mike, the chef, is in the room. Mario, Subconscious, and Clarence. All right, I got a little bit of news. It doesn't look like I'm going to be available tomorrow to do the group coaching session. I'm in the process of trying to see if somebody else like Dan can cover it for me, but unfortunately, he's got things that he has to do, and I will be here for the market forecast, so I will be able to tell you. We'll probably be able to send an email out to everybody that is expecting group coaching tomorrow, whether it is going to happen or not. I do like the, I don't like to do this, but unfortunately, this is something that I would have to be taking care of. So I will let you know, either maybe Dan will know on the recap this afternoon, or I'll know on the forecast tomorrow whether or not we will be holding group coaching tomorrow. Again, if we don't, I'm very sorry. Don't like to do that. But again, it's something that's necessary. So Murph's going to cover for me. All right. You liked the quiz yesterday and the email, Jim. Good. I'm glad. We're going to finding out who we are as traders a little bit, right? All right. On that note, let's take our deep breath. Calm, cool, collected, grateful, creative, and humble in our trading today. Make sure you stay patient. Look for those asymmetric opportunities, little risks for big rewards. Ron talking about needed to start the rules. Need to start following the rules. I've had a bunch of great days, but I end up breaking a time rule or something silly I shouldn't be doing. Just pay attention, Ron. If you're doing well, we're looking forward to your success. So you'll get there. All right. Trade well. Get out there and profit. I should see you for the Coach's Playbook today. And then you'll see Dan and everybody as well. And you should see Dan for the recap. Maybe he'll have some more news about group coaching tomorrow. If not, I'll let you know tomorrow morning for the forecast, and I do apologize if we're not going to be able to take care of that for you. It's always one of my favorite parts of the week. I hate to miss it, but get out there, trade well today. Have a good one.